Good evening. Let's wait for next 5 minutes for joining other people. Okay, good evening to all. Today we will discuss about environmental health and safety. Unit 1. Previously, have you studied this unit? Actually, Dr. Pankaj sir has taught you about one or two classes previously. So, are you present in that classes, or should I we start from beginning? Okay, let me share my screen. So we would start from beginning, whatever maybe the courses. So environmental health and safety, there are two different persons aspect of the environment is there. So environment health is a different thing, and environmental safety is a different thing. So unit 1 and 2 it deals with environment health, and 3 and 4 it deals with environment safety. So start with environment health. So are you able to see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So there are one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine people are there. let's start. Actually, environmental health, it is actually when we are saying environmental health, it first comes in our mind what is environment, because environment is nowadays a very crucial thing, because all of we are living in our environment, and the environment having impact on our health. So health and environment, both things are critically related. So before going to environmental health, we know what is environment. So this is one picture. Here you can see, this is one picture. Let me, okay, is it are you able to see this screen, my screen now? Is everyone okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what do you see about looking in this picture? What is the picture says? This pictures clearly says that there is a neat and clean weather, clean environment, and it looks like very pleasant there. So is this kind of environment, obviously someone if go to that type of environment, then it they feels healthy, or they feels uh, relaxed from our busy or duty everything. So if there are some doctors also prescribe the you should go a lonely place of the environmental good environment and spend some days in order to heal your all these stresses. So indirectly the health and environment are closely related. So what is environment? It is the word, French word, that is environment, that means in or circle, which comes from the environment, the surrounding, whatever the surrounding with us, and the surrounding things that does not things that are only non-living things, because both living as well as non-living, which are present in our surrounding, that having create a great impact to the health of the people. So this environmental health is mostly depends on environment, in which environment you are going to live. Let's say for example, if you are living in a dusty or in a unhygienic place, or does not having any proper cleanliness, so you do not feel well at that environment, even if all you are having uh, paying good salary to work in that environment, but you do not feel good at that environment. So the environment, what type of environment which is present while in your working area or in your surroundings, so that creates impact, and that indirectly leads to degradations of your health, as well as your mental stress, increase of mental stress. So the total and natural conditions which under all animals including humans lives, that is climatic change, geographic change, on this psychological geographic phonal conditions. That means climatic, that is weather or climate. Geographic means whether you are living in a arctic area or in a desert area. Psychogeographic means whether the geographic area is changes according to your conditions or not, you are whether you are living in a peaceful area or not. Then phonal conditions, if you are living or staying in a greenery area rather than staying in a busy street, that is also create impact. So all the things, whatever environmental conditions are there, that depends on our individuals, both physical as well as mentals, all these things. So this is the environment, which environment we are going to live in. So public health definitions, the environment, what is the definition? So all that which external to the individual host, so that can be divided into different kinds of the uh, persons. For example, first is physical, second is biological, third is social, and fourth is cultural factors. So these four factors which influence the organisms. Let's forget about the organisms. Let's describe the health of humans only. Let's say humans. So all these four things are closely related to the different health status of the human or the populations. So in the form, because the environment, the definition of environment in ecological prospect or in environmental science prospect, it is different. It is comes various things. For example, the trophic level, producers, consumers. That are so many things are there. But in case we are studying the health of these organisms or animals or mostly humans, that depends on environment. So that environmental health aspect, there are four factors are there: physical factor, biological factor, social factor, cultural factor. So what is physical factor? Physical factor means what you are directly going to touch and feel at that environment. For example, air, water, soil, the place where you are living. These are the physical factors. Sunlight, or it may be dark. So these are physical factors. So all factors having different kinds of interaction with the health of these humans. Second is biological factor. Biological factor means besides the human, there are so many others living organisms are also present at that environment. So what are that? For example, if you are living in a society, the dogs are there, cats are there, some cows are there, buffaloes are there, horse are there, camels there. So many insects are there, ant, cockroach, and small even viruses, bacteria are also living around with us. So the biological factor, which conditions you are living, that will also create a great impact to the health. Third is social. What is social? Social means as we are considering the human people, we are called as social animals because we cannot live single. You cannot live in single because you need others peoples, other humans in order to different type of cooperations. For example, for food and for shelter, for protections, whatever may be. So there are different peoples are make a society and living together to helping each other. So that is called social thing. So if you are living in a tension area, let's now there's a area, for example, recently the war is going on in between Israel and Gaza, Iran, all these things, Russia and that called Ukraine. So this area, if you are living in that area, then what happened? You are being stressed and you are being in your mind that whatever the bomb will be strike on you and you will die. So you are always being stressed. You cannot live in a full peaceful place there. So at that society, always there is a quarrel. There is a some kinds of interference. You cannot live there, and your health cannot be good at that place. So that social factor is also a very crucial factor in order to living in good health with a good environment. So are you understand? Physical, biological, social, and next is the finally the cultural. Cultural means we are obey different types of cultural our rituals that's associated with our ancient peoples. For example, some are Brahmins. They wake up from morning and they worship the god. They do, having pure vegetarian, do not have eating non-veg. So other peoples, let's say Muslims are there. So they are eating non-veg daily. So when the Brahmin Muslim cannot stay in a single places. So both culture are different. Hindus are different, Muslims are different, Christians are different. So the cultural factor also plays a better role for our environment as well as our health. So all these things are related to the environment as well as health. So particularly for human beings. So these are the factors which mostly influence the health of the environment. So WHO definitions of environmental health. What the full form of WHO? Who can answer? Anyone can answer. What is the full form of WHO? What is the full form?
World Health Organization.
Yes, World Health Organization. What it works actually, the World Health Organization works throughout the world in order to save the health of the peoples, or in order to protect from the different diseases, mostly from bacteria, viruses, the spreads, and to protect the health of the people, health conditions from different uh, factors. So each the WHO that actually declares there are different types of conditions and some rules regulations, let's say what do's or what don'ts, in order to save your health. So this WHO, according to the WHO, environmental health comprise this aspect of the human health, including quality of life. Not only your health is good, but you does not feel better to staying at that you are in stress. Your health is good, but you are in stress, or you are does not having proper does not get proper resources. For example, does not get proper food or proper shelter, or your needs does not be fulfilled. So at that conditions also the health that indirectly gets deteriorated. So the quality of life the humans are living, that is also important factors for your health as well as environment conditions. So there are that are also determine the physical, biological, social, and psychosocial. So these psychosocial is nothing but these cultural factors that we are going. That means that are present, but we cannot we must obey these rules and regulations, and that impacts our society. That's called psychosocials. So these all factors, four factors, are also very much important along with the quality of life. So it also refers the theory and practices assessing the correcting, controlling, and preventing these factors. So see, WHO also giving some guidelines and some theory that what you have to do, what you have to do not do in order to live a better life, better quality of life in your society. So that is theory and practice of assessing. Assessing means you have to assess these four factors. If something is going to be wrong, then you should not be obey blindly, you have to correct it. So what are the steps in order to live a proper good quality of life, and that determines that given by this WHO. So that is correcting or controlling or preventing. Whatever the necessary conditions occurs at that time, the you have to follow these WHO guidelines in order to live a good quality life. So these also impact your potentially impact your health in the present or future generations, because not only you are living in a good conditions or in proper good environment, also your future generations also impact along with you. So this can be given by the WHO. So there are different guidelines given by them which can be control or this prevent or correct all these four factors, that is social, biological, cultural, and psychological, that factors. So all factors are made in order to, or all factors should be used in order to live a good life, quality life, or a good health. So environmental health science, that is the study of those factors of environment that affect human health. So what are the factors that affect the human health? All factors we have to study. So this is the different branch of science which can be studies. So what are the factors? Mostly factors are, because there are good factors and bad factors. Factors that does not mean this always it is a bad or always it is a good, because let's say air and water. So air and water, if you are living in a forest area, in a greenery area, so you can get clean air and clean water there. For you are living in an industrial hub or in a busy scheduled, you cannot get that things clear. So all pollutants or toxicants that mix with that pure or good air or water or soil or food, whatever may be, that actually deteriorates the human health. And that extra or foreign or alien substance that may be called, that are called pollutant or toxicant, that is the main cause for the deteriorations of human health. So these pollutants or toxicants, actually these are two types of things. First is naturally produced, and second is artificially or anthropogenic pollutant or produced. Mostly the natural pollutants, for example in air, some air is blowing along with the dust is blow, this is blowing, this is natural dust or natural phenomenon of the air pollution. But the industrial activity, we are in the thermal power plant, in the transportation sectors, we are burning coal and petrol, diesel, and continuously emitted the different types of pollutant, that is called anthropogenic, or they are man-made pollutants. So these pollutants are particularly emerge to environment deteriorate the environmental health by the human activity mostly. Second is transfer humans by inhalations, ingestion and absorptions. And the pollutants or the toxic substance which are absorbed by the human by three routes. First is inhalations through air. You can inhale the toxic. Second is ingestion through your mouth. You can eat along with your food. And third is absorption through your skin. Directly come contact with the toxic substance, and that substance can enter into your body. So these pollutants or toxic substance can be entered to the human body by the three routes. What are these? Inhalation through your air, through ingestion through food, and absorption by contact with your skin. So these three methods, the contaminants are enters the human health, human body, and that deteriorates the human health. Then production of adverse health effects after ingestions of these pollutants, slowly, whatever may be, whether if you consume very low amount of toxic substance, then later stage it can be come out in your body as a form of diseases. For example, most of the people are smoking cigarette and chewing tobacco. So these things are nothing but the toxicants. In the toxicant means if you are drinking alcohol, chewing tobacco or cigarettes, inhaling cigarettes, so these are slow toxicants that can be enter into your body by your conscience, and you are knowingly entering these toxics in your body, and that in a long term that causes cancers, all different types of ulcers, different kinds of diseases that kills the humans immaturely, because before the death you can just culling the death. So all these things are called pollutant and toxicant, and all these things are severely affected to the environment as well as human health. So this is then the contributions to the environment. So what are the contributions? Physical, biological, we just already discussed these things. What are physical factors? Air, water, soil, housing, climate, geography, heat, light, noise, debris, etc. These are the physical factors, and the toxicants are waste, polyar pollutant, toxic wastage, pesticides, fertilizer, whatever may be. These are called as physical pollutants that directly come contact with you, and you can see it and feel it in your body when you come contact with that pollutant. So these are the physical components. Then what are the biological? Virus, bacteria, and other microbes which create diseases in your body, insects, rodents, animals, and some plants that creates health problem whenever you come contact with that biological agent or this virus, bacteria. Let's say they are near the past, the example is coronavirus. It can spread throughout the world in huge amount, and see how much people are died in every day. So these are biological agents, disease producing agents, reservoir of infections, intermediate host and reservoirs of infections. Some animals, let's say examples is your mosquito. What happens if you live with a mosquito? What happens? Mosquito bites you and sucks your bloods, but that does not kill you. But along with that blood, it injects the plasmodium virus, sorry, that virus that can be cause these malaria diseases that kill you. So some agents, they are called agents. Mosquitoes are called agents, and the human body is called the host. All the things are called biological factors. These also clearly associated with your environment and your health, because if you are do not live in a clean and neat environment, so there are some waters are that is aggregating, and some solid waste, all the litters are there, it does not clean your rooms, and just does not clean your clothes. Then what happens? Obviously the dirty things and the biological factors, they are attracted to you, and your health and environment both are degraded. Then social and psychological, that is called socio-economics. All these things are also plays important roles. Cultures, obviously. Then values, customs, So all these are the different factors which also affect the health as well as environment. And habits, morals, religions, educations, lifestyle, community life, health services, social and political organizations, whatever all the things, all are also create impact, because it is called socio-economic. If you do not have enough money to visit a hospital or to visit a doctor, then what happen? In spite of having your bacteria virus is attack to you, it does not cure that. So if do not have proper education, and that also creates a health problem and the environmental disturbance. All lifestyles, all the things, health services, uh, all the things are closely related to the environment as well as health. So basic requirements for a healthy environment. What are the things that is required in order to live a quality life and a good environment? So basically clean air. Clean air does not mean that the air you are taking here, because the air is mix of the air pollutants, all the dust particles, all the things. But clean air, whenever you get clean air, that clean air is mostly free of these air pollutants like NO2, SO2, all the things. Carbon dioxide is not a pollutant. Remember, carbon dioxide is not a pollutant, because carbon dioxide is a very important factor for the plant. They can absorb the carbon dioxide and prepare food for you in the process of photosynthesis. So carbon, and in the exchange they give in oxygen for you. So it is not a toxicant, carbon dioxide is. So clean air, safe and sufficient water, pure proper sanitation facilities. You have to get clean water for daily purposes, for drinking and household purposes. Safe and adequate food. You do not eat the food properly, that also your health degrades. Safe, the word safe here, safe does not safe means that is free of pollutant or toxic substance, that is called safe. If you are drinking or eating some contaminated water or contaminated food, then does not the safe. Nowadays we are the safe food does not find easily, because whatever we are eating, the Maggie, the pizzas, burger, these are not safe foods, these are called junk foods. The safe foods and proper adequate foods if you are getting, then you will also be your environment as well as you become healthy. Safe and peaceful settlement, this is also very much important. Something, if you are disturbed by something in your life, living places or in workplaces, you cannot concentrate your work fully. So in order to concentrate or in order to live a peaceful life, the safe and peaceful settlement should be required. If something you are having some doubt that someone is going to be come and kill me, and in that positions you cannot be uh, safe, so you cannot be live a good peaceful life. So at that point also the cultural practice, social practices, all the things are comes under for we live a good environment or healthy environment. Then stable global environment. This stable global environment, this is the word for total environmental conditions. For example, air, water, and all absence of any disturbance, all these things, that is a stable environment. So at that environment you should be very live in a quality life, and this is the called the healthy environment. Scope of environmental health. So why we are studying about this environmental health, why we are studying these things? Because whenever necessary we are encourage people or we are making some decisions in order to improve the quality of life. For example, water supplies, wastewater treatment plants are there, water management, waste managements are proper waste managements are there for the proper disposal of waste. Vector controls, vector controls mean there's mosquito control, flies, and all the bacteria, viruses control. The guidelines are given by the WHO, all the things. So the municipal, have you seen the municipal corporation? They sprinkle DDT, the fogging in the evening time in order to all. This is called vector control. preventations and control of land pollutions. We are disposing the solid waste in a dustbin. Then after dustbin, it will be go for a particular landslide, sorry, incineration positions, or some you have to make compost on it. So proper disposal should not be litter the garbage here and there. So food hygiene and safety, use good food, good quality with safely. Then air quality management. This is the things actually. These are controlled by state government as well as central government. So state government, central government, both having different body, that is state pollution control board, central pollution control board. They are regulate this air quality for the different industrial emissions. They set up different uh, levels of higher levels of the threshold levels of emissions that cannot harm the environment. But these are the things we can manage in order to improve the life quality life as well as improve the environment health of the environment. Occupational health and safety. Occupational health and safety is a broad subject and broad prospect. We will be studied in the unit 4 3 and 4 what is the health and safety. So that is also very much important. If you are working some places and if you are unaware about the places, then you have to make some accident or hazards that also deteriorates your health. So in order to make your health in good conditions, you should know how you have to work in a proper with proper use of safety precautions. So this is also very much important. So you will study all the things how health and safety are related in unit 3 and 4. So then environmental noise management. Noise, this is also very much unhealthy practice nowadays. Even you have seen large in marriages, all these processions use DJs are there that does not good for human health. Or let's say some in crowd conditions, peoples are there, the noisy environment there, you cannot concentrate. If you read a book in a noisy environment, you cannot read it or finish it, or you cannot understand. So in order to live a peaceful or mental life, peaceful, you have to sit in a quiet place. So noise management is also very much important factors. Accommodations and establishments. So proper living conditions, social factors, all the things are also we can improve by this environmental health when we study the environmental health. Then environmental impact assessments. So please remember what are the scope of environmental health. This is a very good question for you. Environmental impact assessment. So environmental impact assessment is something that if you are going to build a industry or build a huge project, then what are the impact that coming in future? If you are building an industry near or let's say in Parul University, building a huge industry. So what are the consequences? Because Parul University is a educational hub. The people are here coming and educate themselves, and this is a learning or school environment. So industry releases huge amount of health, makes huge noise, so much peoples are there. So there should not be a industry near a some school or colleges. So and also the industry the releases huge amount of wastewater, solid waste as well as air pollutions. So the effect on this industry what should be in the near future. So in order to assess these things before commissioning of the project, that is called environment impact assessment. We have to just gather the background knowledge what is in there now, what is the conditions of environment now, and what is the conditions of environment after establishment of the factory. So that assessment is called environmental health assessment. So if the positiveness is more, then you have to build that or go for the industry. Or if there is more negative points, more health the environment deteriorated, say we should not, the government should not be forbid the build that project. Then port health. What is port health? Port health the because the sea large number of ships are traveling from here and there from shipping companies. So the health of the water and seas, all the things are also manageable here. Accident preventations, because you are working in some places, or let's say you are riding a bike, so you have to use helmet. Why? Because in order to accidents when you save your heads. So all the things are comes under your to live a better quality of life and to restrict the health deteriorations. due to the environment. Environmental health aspect of public creations and tourism. Everywhere you have to see there are some tourism places, you are going for recreational activity, so at that place you have also some guidelines are there. All the things should be manageable with this environmental health. Environmental health measures associated with epidemics, emergencies, disasters, mitigations of populations. Let's say a huge earthquake comes here, what happens? Huge floods are there. Recently Bodhra is suffering huge floods, water floods. Let's say there is a drought here, let's say some whatever disasters comes, so at that positions what should the next step in order to protect humans or human health, that pre-plan activities, the mitigation strategies, all things can be previously planned whenever we studying this environmental health. Establishment of effective environmental health surveillance and information system. There are different places where you should the government should monitoring the what is the status and quality of the air pollutions, what the quality of the water. Have you ever seen in your mobile phone air quality index? Let's say Delhi is very polluted or having high air pollutions in winter seasons. It foggy it, huge number of smokes and fogs are there, even the sun disappears for a 7 to 8 days. Why this is? Because lots of transportation activities is there, and the air quality due to the emissions of the vehicles, the air quality does not good for human health there. The air quality index, the continuously monitoring systems are also installed some places in order to take necessary actions and prevent the human deteriorations of health. So these are different scopes of the human health, uh, uh, environmental health. So let's come to what are the relation between water and health. So water, air, water, these are the most primary aspect or mostly closely associated with the environment health, because water is your body or human body is consisting of 70% of water, your blood. Without water you cannot survive within 2 days 3 days. So water, food, all the things are very much closely associated with the human health. So safe and wholesome water is necessary in order to prevent your health deteriorations. If you are drinking unsafe water, or then what happen? You get become a diseases and you are very much prone to different diseases and your health get deteriorated. So free from pathogenic, the water should be free from pathogenic agents, the bacteria, viruses, free waters you have to drink, free from harmful chemical substances, not only biological, some physical substance like some pollutants, some toxic substance may be present, let's say heavy metal, arsenic, or some different kinds of contaminants may be in the water. So your water should be free from that contaminants in order to save your health. Pleasant to taste, free from color and odor. Obviously, muddy water you cannot drink it. If water is smelling pungent, you cannot drink it. That is not usable. Then usable domestic purposes. Drinking water and domestic water both are different. So usable water that you can use in your gardening purpose for bathing or washing purposes. But drinking water should be very much good and wholesome in order to prevent your health. So water requirement for drinking purposes 2 liter per person per day is sufficient. Not sufficient. Actually, this is requirement, minimum requirement for the persons in order to survive. Domestic purposes 150 to 200 liters persons for bathing, cooking, all the other activities. This is a universal requirement for the water. So water is very much associated with your health. What are the uses? Domestic uses, public purposes, industrial purposes, agricultural purposes, hydropower productions. So do you think that the water that is 200 liter per day water is sufficient? So actually when you are not utilizing, because in a town or in a urban area we are hardly uses 30 to 40 liters water per day, 2 liter for drinking and other are for bathing and all these purposes, so that is sufficient. maximum 50 liters of water, that is sufficient in our town. But here it is saying that 100 and 200 liter per day. So how, what is the other water? Indirectly, when you are utilizing your energy, if you are lighting a switch bulb, you are running a motor, you are using your laptop computer, so the energy is also a indirect use of this water. In industries you are using your some industrial goods, let's say you are using fridge, tv, televisions, computers, your bike. So in order to produce that things, a lot of water is used in the industry in order to produce the goods. Even if you are eating whatever the food, you are eating rice or wheat or the atta, all the things, in order to produce these things, it requires a huge amount of water in the agricultural field. And after that your grain is ready in your plate. So the water is very much necessary, directly, indirectly. So the water, without water we cannot live. So everywhere the water, importance of water is very much closely related to the health. Source of water, where we can found the water, obviously we are found the water mostly uh, rainwater, surface water and groundwater. Rainwater means directly rainwater, that is mostly falling in rainy seasons. Surface water means water from lakes, seas, streams and rivers. And groundwater means the ground, tube wells water or boring. So the water and health deteriorated by additions of some foreign substances that are called pollutants. So water pollutants. What are the water pollutants that can deteriorate the water health? Sewage. Sewage means, what is the sewage? Your latrine outlet, the pipe which contains huge amount of water. That if water is come contact with, directly contact with your like some ponds or the river, then the water is deteriorated. Industrial and trade pollutants, industrial wastewater, that also huge amount of water is utilized by the industry. And the industry, after utilization of water, the water should be released to the near river. So that water also deteriorates the environment, because we are getting water from municipality, municipal water supply. So where water comes? It comes from the river. And if you are mixing the waste, sewage or industrial waste to the river, so obviously the water get polluted. Agriculture pollutants, we are spraying lots of pesticides, different toxic substance to kill the pest, fertilizers. And if the pests are obviously killed, but the pollutants or the pesticides we are spraying, that are present in your, and that is washed away by the water and mixed with the water, and indirectly we are drinking that water. So that is also a pollutant. Physical pollutant and radioactive substances, somewhere in radioactive substance also the water get polluted. So these are the different water pollutions related to the water. So water is polluted once because it is not free from water pollutant. Everywhere you can find water pollutants, and water is not pure form, whether it is surface water. Obviously groundwater is purely free from these contaminants, because it directly we are digging the from borewell, and it is 80 to 90% free from this contaminant. But groundwater is not sufficient to supply everyone. So most majority of water supply is comes from the surface water. That surface water means the water from rivers. So before utilizing the water in our household or drinking purposes, we have to clean the water or purification of the, every one house having your RO systems or some water filter in your house. So why, what is the function of that? That is to purify the water, whether it is a small scale in your house, it will be a small filter, it is a small scale. Let's say in a Parul University, the filter plant is there, so huge amount of filtering water is filtered and stored there. So then we a large scale filtration. So household level, you can boil the water in order to kill the germs or bacteria or viruses. Chemical dispensation and filtrations, some chlorine tablets are also coming. You mix the chlorine tablets to in order to dispense some chemical substance are that can kill the germs. Then de-inspections of well, that means adding alums and fitkiris in the different well in order to clean the water, and bleaching powder, all the things. Then purification in a large scale, slow and sand filter, rapid filter, because they are industrial scale. Whenever the water, because the municipality, some, they supply the water to every household in the city. So the large water filter house is, water filter plants is there, and huge quantity of water is filtered and supply to the household. So there are different waterborne diseases which deteriorate the health of humans. What are these? Viral diseases, that is viral hepatitis A, hepatitis E, and poliomyelitis, rotavirus, diarrhea. This is called viral diseases. Hepatitis is nothing but your pilia, that is called jaundice. We are normally we are called jaundice, hepatitis A. So these are the different forms of viral infections, and it spreads through water only, not air. Second is bacterial contaminations, thyroid, typhoid and parathyroid fevers, and this bacillary dysentery, cholera, Escherichia coli, diarrhea, etc. These are bacterial contaminations. If you are drinking with some fecal contaminated, coliform contaminators, Escherichia coli contaminated water, then dysentery is the most common diseases. Your dysentery, you have to run toilet many times. So this is a common bacterial infections, and that is also water infections. So use pure, safe, and clean drinking water. Then protozoal, amphibiasis, and degradation. There are different kinds of organisms that can deteriorate your health. And helminths, there are some wound worms and worms that disease are there, because the worms that are found commonly in the gods of the humans. Then snails, Saccharomyces, so small snails are also found in water, and Clapos or Gandraform on fish tapeworm. So there are different types of water, mostly viral and bacterial infections is common, foundly everywhere. That is spreads through waters. If you drink different water or polluted water, then you have to suffer with your health issues. So what are the diseases? Acute and chronic toxic effect of chemical pollutants. If there are some toxic pollutants are present in water, then what happened? The toxic pollutants that causes different kinds of allergies or some different disorder in your body. Disease associated with inadequate use of water. If someone is not utilizing, not drinking proper amount of water, then it suffers anemia and all water scarcityness diseases. So you have to at least drink 2-3 liters waters a day. That is, should be pure and clean, safe drinking water. Dental health problem, 1 gram of fluoride per liter water is beneficial for dental health. The fluoride is also very much health for your dental health. That means your health of the teeth. If the fluoride is content is higher or become lower, then it also create problems. So obviously when you are using the borewell water or particularly the groundwater, then all these chemicals are the required chemicals are present in water that can be very useful for our human health. But sometimes if you are their water is greatly contaminated with different kinds of metals or all these chemicals, that also deteriorate the health. Vector-borne diseases are malaria, filaria, etc. Cardiovascular diseases, hardness of water have beneficial effect of hardness of water. Cardiovascular diseases means the heart-related diseases, which is hardness of water have beneficial. If you are drinking hard water, then it is very beneficial for this type of health. Then, in order to get clean drinking water, safe drinking water, there are some quality. WHO recommends, WHO having some guidelines. What are the different limits of the substance or chemicals in waters? So according to the guidelines of WHO, there are different variables are there. The acceptability accept, microbiological accept, chemical accept, and radiological accept. In the permissible limit, what is the permissible limit of, let's say, fluoride, let's say turbidity, let's say all these things, different kinds of animals or microbial means, because we are the everywhere you can find the microbes or the small living organisms. So you cannot anything cannot be free from the microorganism. But there is a limit. If the limit is less than the prescribed limit, then it is not get any diseases whenever you consume that kind of things. And some chemical aspect, radiological aspect, the WHO provides some guidelines. So acceptability assets. So what are the different kinds of acceptability assets? Uh, let's say physical parameters. First is turbidity, that is less than 5 NTU, that is nephrologic turbidity. The turbidity means the color, that is muddy or whatever maybe the different things are there. So it is less than 5, that is the very good. Color is free from color because water is colorless. If you seen some brownish or some different color, that does not fit for drinking. So color is water is colorless. Taste and odor, water does not have any odor, does not have any taste. If you feel some taste and odor, the water is contaminated. Temperature, obviously cool water is more potable. Boiling water is not suitable for drinking, so cool water is suitable for drinking. Then inorganic constituents, there are different chemicals. You should not remember all the things, just know chemicals, chloride, calcium. There are a limit that up to 200 milligram per liter, 100 to 300 milligram per liter. Ammonia, hydrogen, iron, sodium, sulfate, zinc, manganese, copper, aluminium, pH, diesel oxygen, and these limit are prescribed by the WHO because this is the permissible limit. If the limits are exceed than the limit, then you cannot drink the water. You can it can deteriorate your health. Like microbial aspects, bacteriological indicators are there. Coliforms, these are the different virus and bacteria. Coliform, Escherichia coli, Streptococcus, Fringers gens, and virological aspects are there. Biological aspects mean protozoa, helminthes, living organisms. These are different kinds of organisms, microbes that lives along with the water, and it can be deteriorates your health if you are drinking all these impurities along with water. Bacteriological indicators, coliforms. This is the important parameters. Coliforms that is mostly found in stool of every animals, that is called fecal coliform. If and it is severely contaminated, any kind of surface water, that is a pond, river, or any stream water, that because most of the animals are, even humans are in rural area, they can go toilet in outside. So that can be directly mixed with the rainwater and contaminates the pond and river. So this is also having limit. If the Escherichia coli count is less than 100, then it is good. If the count is more than 100, that is not fit for the water. So this is the limit prescribed by this WHO. So bacteriological indicators are the streptococci and this clostridia. These are also different kinds of bacteria and the contaminated. These are the due to this bacteria, these are contaminated. Water can be contaminated and water health is degraded. It do not be go all in details. Lastly, virological aspects. Drinking water should be free from any viruses that the WHO prescribes 0.5 FRC. That means fractions per coliform. That will be also pathogenic. 2.5 gram. That is prescribed. The residual chlorine, all the things. Because when you are treating the wastewater or treating the water by adding chlorine, chlorine is also a indicator, or chlorine is also a foreign substance, and excess chlorine that also deteriorates your aim and health. So proper amount of chlorine that also should be in water. Protozoa, helminthes, you should not go in details. Free living organisms. So there are in water. Let's say whenever you just visit the Limda Lake in outside the Limda in a Parul University, see the lake where you can find lots of microorganisms, different fishes. All these things are living in water. That water. So all living organisms having producing different kinds of toxic substances, taste, odor. Let's say for example, if the having huge number of fish living in the pond, so whenever you smell the water, it smell like fish. So it does not good to feed to water. So in order to feed that water, in order to drink that water, you have to potable. You have to convert that water through different channels. After that, you can drink the water. So water is very necessary, but you have to use the water precisely, and you have to maintain your health. So these are chemical aspects. There are arsenic, cadmium, chromium, cyanide, fluoride, lead, mercury, nitrate, sodium, selenium. Different kinds of pesticides as uh, all these fertilizers. There are different chemical substances which are also mixed with the water and deteriorate your health. So water and health is closely related. These are the inorganic constituencies: arsenic, cadmium, chlorium, and the limit. These are the limit prescribed by WHO, because WHO is the only guide, provides guidelines what is the maximum limit in the water that does not harms, because this limit exceeds, if the chemical substance are exceeds within the limit, then if you are drinking that kind of water, utilize that water, then your health will be deteriorated. You should not be remember all these limits. Just you have to remember some names only. These are the organic chemistry. People may differentiate the difference between inorganic and organic. These are the organic constituents at the limit: carbon chloride, vinyl chloride, toluene, benzene, all these things, hydrocarbons, that are the organic constituents. So these are different pesticides: aldrin, DDT, 2,4-D, heptaculture. Just remember few names, do not remember the limit, because the limits are prescribed by the WHO. So this is all about what is environmental health, and what how water is related to your health. So are you getting? If you have any questions, then you can ask now.
No,
No questions? All
no, sir.
are you listening now? So let me ask you one questions. So what are the different factors that can be affect your environment and health? What are the four factors? Who can answer? What is the four factors that can greatly related health and environment? Who can say? Who can say what are the four factor? Very simple. Yes, obviously, physical, biological, and social, psychological, or that may call cultural. So these are the four factors. So every factors, what are the physical factors? Like water, air, soil, or our different substance, we are physically we can contaminated with that environment. Biological means bacteria, viruses, living organisms, worms, all the things. Social means the society, whatever may be the socio-economic, all the things. Then cultural, or whatever the stress conditions, living thing, all are very much important for both environment and health, because these are closely related. We are not going discuss pure environment, or not going to discuss pure health, because health issues, health, these are the subject which is taught by the health science, or maybe the nursing or pharmacy students, and the environment experts, because all of not in environmental science student. So the environment expert is also clearly that can be studied in environmental science subject. So just relate the different factors from environment and health. So for today this much. Next class, tomorrow 8 p.m. we will discuss about what are the relation between air and human health. Today we will going to discuss what is the relation between water and health. But tomorrow we will discuss relation between air with the human health. Okay, good night to you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I will share this PPT, all of you. Please go through it after completing this subject.